I'm in the latest update of Minecraft Bedrock. This is version 1.2.13 and I'm in my survival world and I'm going to turn this witch's hut into a bit of a farm. And I'm doing this now and here because I was halfway through getting my farm done and they did the update and everything stopped working. So this is just kind of a quick fix for the Bedrock version of the farm. And I am just gonna kind of wing some of this. Gonna wing it. And so what I have, some pistons, some tripwires, and some basic redstone. And we're gonna see what we can do. Kind of hoping to do it before the sunset, but maybe not. Now in Bedrock, witches will only spawn in one spot in terms of north, south, east, west. The vertical elevation can change depending on how much valid space they have above them. And from simple observation, I know the witches in this particular hut always spawn right there. It's in the middle, and it's the block just behind the front wall. And more specifically, they spawn in the southwest corner of the block. So what that means for me is I can deal with these 4 blocks around that corner and make my farm around it, and I will get all of the witches all the time. Now, one of the change-ups that happened with the update is witches can no longer spawn on the roof. They used to be able to spawn up here on the roof. Can't do that anymore. The highest up they can be is where their head is in this air block here. Their head can't even be, if I removed this block, their head could not be up in there. They can't spawn that high up. Their head has to be here, their feet has to be on this elevation, which means we can do cobblestone, which means right there, that is the elevation of my first floor, if you want to call it that. And then again, we can come down below and let's take this out so I know where I'm at. Boom. Sand. And we can come down here. There we go. And this is basically the elevation of the second floor. Yep. Block, 2 spaces, and then this would be the second floor. And obviously too, if you can make something like this, you want to light up all the caves around you. Come back up above. Yep, there we go. Let's put here, boom, boom. That's going to be the spawning platform for the top floor. And then something else I noticed is they will typically spawn it at the highest platform. And then, well, the highest platform. So they'll prefer to spawn here rather than down below. But just in case that mechanic changes in the future, I'm going to make 2 platforms. I guess technically all you really would need is 1 platform up above. What I need is basically to take out this front wall. Like that. Yep, that's what I like. And I need to take this stuff out. I'm going to try my best to leave as much of the witch hut intact as I can. I'm not going to try making anybody watch me try to build in survival. Oh, for better or worse, this is the conglomeration I came up with. Just kind of a rickety rundown funky looking witch's hut. Very messy. And when I say light up the area, I mean light up the area. So right now, my simulation chunks are set to 4 chunks to match the what is it, the mob cap that the game has, the density cap, which is also 4 chunks. And so what that means is this witch hut is actually positioned right at the corner of one chunk. Like this would be like the border of one chunk that this witch hut is sitting in. So from here, 4 chunks in that direction. I see a skeleton there. 4 chunks that direction, and then 4 chunks that direction need to be lit up. Now since I don't really ever come to the top up here, I don't care that I've used jack-o'-lanterns all over the place. But also, in addition to lighting up based on where the witch's hut is, a lot of times when I'm down below AFKing, I'm like in this chunk. So even from this chunk, I have to go basically an extra chunk in that direction when lighting things up. And it's not just at the surface, it's all the caves that are in the area. So you've got to really kind of search thoroughly for all those caves, and that will help your rates for your farm. Basically, this is what I have inside the witch's hut. And so the concept is really simple. That when witches spawn on the platform, it gets pulled out from under their feet. There's those. There's those. And then you'll have these here, which are your sidewalls. And then these 2 blocks here are the bump out on the wall, which would be like right here where the original wall of the witch's hut gets bumped out by 1 block. And that is for the tripwire hooks. And then on this side, those are actually inside the witch's hut. And then you attach the string. There you go. And then inside the witch's hut, that's basically at the floor level. And then you'll want repeaters on 4 ticks. And that's it. So that when you come across here, the floor opens. Or rather, when the witches spawn inside here, the floor opens. Now the roof, actually there it is. The roof of the witch's hut is at this level. Alrighty. That's the roof. And so then about the only other thing that you need to do really is enclose inside here. If you're trying to keep most of the original witch's hut intact, like in my case, I left some of the windows in. And so to really make this light proof, well, and actually you come here. You want those at least anyways to keep the witches from escaping the center. But I would just enclose all of this in. Make it a cave spawn. Just like that. Really basic, simple concept. But let's go down and see if it's doing anything down below. This is from down below. Basically, it just amounts to throwing in a sorting system right under where the witches fall down. And then still a lot of times this is where I AFK. Now in Windows 10 here, if the game doesn't get much of or any input, like if you're just sitting here doing nothing, it will kick you off. I have found though that if I'm looking into, say, this hopper here with items going through it, I can just leave it here and the game will keep running without kicking me off. So I don't know if it's the fact that I'm looking hopper or the items are going through the hopper. But yeah, I can just stand here and let it run all day long. So this is my little AFK room, and since I come in through the portal here and usually exit through the portal, I'm not activating any other chunks outside this area in any direction. So that's what it is. So a little experimentation. Initially, and even now, I have this built with 2 floors. What I have set up here is off of these tripwires. I have a line coming out, so this redstone lamp will come on if the top floor gets spawns, and if the bottom floor gets spawns, this redstone lamp will come on. And the reason why I initially had 2 floors is I thought, okay, I will have the top floor open to the sky for surface spawns, and then the floor below, I would get spawns that are cave spawn representations. And I thought, okay, during the night at least, I would get twice the efficiency because both floors would be spawning. But that is not quite the case. And I also thought, okay, during the day, I know it's too bright for the top floor to get spawns, but I should still get the cave spawns from the bottom floor. Also, that doesn't seem to be the case. What seems to be happening is that the game figures from the top down as to if it should create a spawn or not. And like during the day, it gets to that top floor. It says it's possible to spawn a witch here, but it's too bright, so I can't spawn a witch. And then it stops trying to look further down to the bottom floor to spawn a witch. And then at nighttime, let's just speed this up. Time, that is set. Night. Boom, there we go. Okay, so now if we're just watching those redstone lamps over there, now that it's nighttime, you'll see top floor is where they always spawn. Yep, there you go. Top floor, and then they fall through, and then they fall through the bottom floor. So if the top floor were not a valid spawning spot, then they would spawn on the bottom floor. So I do know that the bottom floor can be spawned on. It's just they never do. Mobs in structures prefer to spawn at the highest valid spawning spots that they can. And so having the top floor open to the sky basically cuts your spawning rates in half rather than doubles them. So now I can prove that the bottom floor is spawnable by coming in here. So I can prove the bottom floor is spawnable by making the top floor unspawnable by raising it up a block. And then we'll put our tripwire strings back. Okay. And then we can back off. Now we should see that instead of them spawning on the top floor, they'll spawn on the bottom. Yep, there we go. And this is also how I know that my top floor was set in the correct spot initially. That if I went up one more block, it's too high for the witches, because they just don't spawn up that high. Alright, so let's go and take those back out. And then the witches will spawn on the top floor again, and pretty much the top floor only. And then they follow through to the second floor. Now I'm going to leave the second floor in, just in case the spawning mechanics change in the future. I will already have that in place. Those are just a few things I noticed about the witch's hut and their spawning. So if you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. Bye.